we're going to start off with the materials you need. I chose 5 colors, but of course you could choose as many as you want. I chose the color Ocean, Sea Blue, Antique Teal, all from the I Love This Yarn brand, and I also got this color called Biscuit in the Yarn Bee brand. And for this orange, I don't know the name of, but I do know it's also the I Love This Yarn brand. If I remember the name, I'll put it on the screen. Next, you're going to need a 4.5 millimeter hook along with a 5.5 millimeter hook. You'll also need scissors and a measuring tape. And with that, let's get started. For our measurements, we want to measure our bust size and subtract that by 15. So I ended up getting 33, and that minus 15 is 18. So I chained until 18 in the next clip. And what I forgot to do in the video that you're seeing here is I also forgot to take another measurement, which is measurement B, and that is like the top to bottom of your boob. And that is all the measurements we need. So the measurements I ended up with was 18 and 6. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to chain until I get to my measurement right here. And one thing you have to keep in mind is it has to be a multiple of 7. So when you're chaining to your length, just keep an eye out for that. And I'm going to check up on you guys after I am finished with this. So I ended up chaining 70 chains. So the next thing we're going to do after that is we're going to chain one more. And then you're going to double crochet into the second chain from your hook. And we're just going to do this all the way across. Okay, so after you're done with it, after you're done with that, this is where your second measurement comes in. You're going to do double crochets until you reach that measurement. So in my case, I think I said it was 6. So it's going to be this tall, and we're basically working on the tube top part of the eyelet top. So we're going to want it to be however long your measurement is, and after that we'll work on the next section. So just to start you guys off, after each row you're going to want to chain one and just double crochet all the way across. So I ended up chaining 13 to get to 6 inches. It's right there. And now we're going to start on the zigzag part of the top. So we're going to get our next color. And we're going to insert our hook and put in our new color. Give me 1 second. Okay, so now we're gonna single crochet into every double crochet until we get to the end of the row. After that, we're going to chain 1, single crochet into the first stitch, and now we're going to chain 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to skip 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to insert our hook into the 5th stitch. We're just going to repeat that, so chain 5, and insert it into the 5th stitch. Chain 5, single crochet into the 5th stitch. Now when you get to the end, if you have like you're missing one or one stitch, that's totally fine. You could just do the same, just chain 5 and insert it into the last one you have. Okay, so now we're going to turn our work, and we're going to chain 1, single crochet into the first stitch, and now we're going to chain 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we're going to insert it into the same single crochet we did in the previous row. So we're just going to do that, just chaining 7 in between each chain 5 from the previous row, and insert it into that stitch right there. And as we do this, you can see it's creating like little bumps, and that's how we essentially form our zigzags. Single crochet into that last stitch. Now we're going to chain 1, single crochet into the first stitch, and we're going to do the same thing that we did in the last row, chain 7, and put it into the same stitch right here. Okay, so now for this row, we're going to chain 5, and then we're going to put a single crochet under these 2 chain 7 rows. So we're going to insert a hook here and single crochet, chain 5, and single crochet, and that creates our zigzags, which I think it's really cool. And it's really simple, so just chain 5 and single crochet into those 2. And that's essentially what we're doing for this whole row, but like once we get towards the end, we do something a little different, so I will let you guys know once we get there. Okay, so when you get to the end, you're going to want to chain 2 and double crochet into that last single crochet. And now you're gonna chain 1, single crochet into the double crochet, chain 2, and single crochet. And now we're going to repeat the chain 5 rows. So chain 5, and single crochet there, and once you get to the end, we're going to chain 2, and we're going to single crochet into the 3rd stitch of this chain 5. So this is the 3rd one, and single crochet there. Turn your work, and we're going to chain 6, and single crochet into that stitch. Now we're going to do the chain 7 again. So we're going to chain 7, and insert it into that single crochet. And once you get to the end, chain 3 and double crochet into that last stitch. Turn your work, chain 1, single crochet into the 1st stitch, chain 3, and single crochet into the next. Now we're going to repeat what we did with chain 7, and single crochet. Once you get to the end, chain 3, and put a single crochet into the 3rd chain of these 6 stitches. turn, chain 1, and single crochet into that stitch. Now we're going to chain 5, and we're going to single crochet into these 2 rows right here. So we're going to skip this part and we're going to single crochet here. Chain 5, single crochet into that gap. And we're just doing that all the way across. And when you get to the end, just single crochet into that last stitch. And that makes us done with the second part of the eyelet top. And now we're going to move on to the third part. To start off this section, you're going to take another color and insert it into your project. So give me 1 second. And you're going to single crochet into that first stitch like we did before. And we're going to continue on what we did on the last row. So chain 5, and single crochet into that stitch. Chain 5, single crochet, chain 5, single crochet. Just going to keep on doing that until we get to the end. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to chain 1 and we're going to do half double crochets all across these stitches. And for this section, we're just going to do half double crochets for 3 rows. So it'll be like this for 3 rows, and then we're done with this section. To start off the next section, you're going to switch colors and we're going to chain 10. Now we're going to skip 3 of these chains and slip stitch into the 4th chain from your hook. Chain 2, and we're going to skip 4 stitches and double crochet into the 5th. now we're going to chain 7. Slip stitch in the 4th chain from your hook, chain 2, and double crochet into the 5th stitch. Chain 7, slip stitch into the 4th chain from your hook, chain 2, double crochet into the 5th stitch. We're just going to continue on with the chain 7, slip stitch into the 4th chain, chain 2, and double crochet for this whole row. And then we're going to do something slightly different for the 2nd row, and then we're just going to repeat the 2nd row. On the next row, we're going to chain 10, slip stitch into the 4th chain from your hook, and what we're doing different this time is that we're going to chain 2 like usual, and we're going to double crochet, but we're going to insert it into the 3rd stitch away from this double crochet right here. So it would be one right here. Chain 7, single crochet, no, slip stitch into the 4th chain from your hook, chain 2, and double crochet into this stitch right here. Okay, I'm going to do it one more time. Chain 7, slip stitch into the 4th chain from your hook, chain 2, and double crochet into this stitch right here. And that's what we're essentially doing for this whole section. We're just going to repeat the 2nd row, and we're going to do this for 3 rows. So after this row, you're going to do one more, and then we'll be done with that section. So for this section, this is where our 5mm hook comes in. We're going to do a row of like a granny square stitch, but this hook just makes it look more full compared to the 4.5. So I do recommend sizing up, but it's totally optional. You don't have to. So now we're gonna do our color switch, and we're gonna insert our new color into this stitch right here. Okay, so now we're going to single crochet all of it across these stitches just so we could have a base to do our granny clusters. So single crochet into that stitch, and once we get to these picot stitches, you're just going to insert a single crochet in between those as well, and then just going to single crochet all the way across. It might be a little difficult because we are using a bigger hook and we're basically crocheting into a base chain, so just be patient with it. Okay, so once you did that, we're going to chain one and turn our work. And actually we're going to add 2 more to that chain one, and we're going to double crochet into the first stitch, and that counts as our cluster. And we're going to chain 2, skip 2 stitches, and double crochet into the third stitch. And we're going to put 2 double crochets into that stitch. So chain 2, skip 2, 2 double crochets into the single crochet. Chain 2, skip 2, 2 double crochets into the single crochet. And that's the whole row. We're just doing one of these, and once you get to the end, that's all you have to do for this section. So after you finish that row, you could go ahead and switch back to your 4.5 hook, and we're going to do another color switch, and we're going to do double crochets all the way across for 2 rows, and that would be essentially the end of our top. So now we are done with the top. The last thing we're going to do before we steam it is we're going to tie off the back. So you're going to want to have your wrong side facing you, and we're going to fold it over like this. And now you want to chain a really long string the same color as the top part, and we're going to just put it through this side. And how I do it is I just like put it through this gap. It's normally better to use a hook for this, but I don't feel like getting it right now. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And now we're just going to like make a crisscross basically and repeat it all the way down until we get it down here. So I'm gonna skip 2 of these rows, and actually it's gonna be on this side. Skip 2 of these rows and put the string through the 3rd row, so like around here. It doesn't matter too much where you put it, just make sure it's like relatively similar, and then do the same thing to the other side. And that would basically be it. You're done, and now you're ready to steam it. This last part is definitely optional. I think that it looks good on its own, but I think it also looks better when you block it in some way. I personally block all my things by steaming it because I think it's much easier. And I have this mannequin with me, and I just put it on there and just like stretch it out and steam it like I'm doing here in the video. But before I had the mannequin thing, I also used a hanger and pinned it up to my wall and also did the same thing, and it just had the same effect. Just in case you're using a steamer and don't have the mannequin thingy, it's totally fine. You do not need all this fancy stuff. Just to stretch out the zigzags, I don't really stretch out the top part because I want it to be less see-through. I just do the zigzags and the mesh part, and I think it looks really good that way. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you guys want more tutorials. This was a lot of fun, and I think I would want to do more. So let me know what you guys want to see next. Thank you. Bye.